Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Saw this ball about this size, that thing there about 3 feet in diameter, following this Japanese Betty bomber, and it started changing colors. I thought I'd seen a new secret weapon. I had to agree with the rest of the guys because that's what they all thought it was. They didn't know any better, and nobody had ever heard of a UFO in '44.
Would report glowing, luminous balls of light that would come up from the ground, often orange or red, anywhere from 1 foot to 6 feet in diameter, would accelerate up to their altitude and then level off very quickly and then stay beside the airplane. They would fly either singly or in pairs or in trio or 4 objects, oftentimes in rigid formation.
Spotted something out there. It was kind of bright. Didn't know if it was an aircraft or what it was. I'd say it was probably traveling at a fairly decent speed, maybe 200 miles an hour, 300 miles an hour, and it was coming toward it, but it was coming in a bright light. That's what made it so odd that we could not identify, because we all knew exactly whatever enemy aircraft was there. We knew what it was. It was very easy because that's one of the things we learned real quick like.
What's up, everyone? This is Arizona Diego, and you're listening to Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma. Check out my Facebook page at Arizona Secret Backyard. Give me a like, share, and follow. I'll see you there.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. So it's been a while. It's been almost a month now, and I really missed you guys. And I delayed podcasting just a little bit, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. But I just want to welcome everybody to Alien Strand Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and alienstrand.com. Check us out there when you have a chance. Also, you can download the Alien Strand app there on your Google Play. It's a free app, so you can download it there and catch all the episodes that are coming. So we're like on a little 3rd season already. So we're gonna start getting things going, moving it right along for you guys, and we're gonna get a lot of stories out to you. But welcome, and thank you to my past guests that have been on the show before. Thank you for being on the show. You guys do an awesome job in getting all the information out. You post a lot of good stuff on your sites, and I share them there on Alien Strand. They're on Facebook. If you guys have a chance, catch us there on Facebook, and you'll see a lot of the videos that I'll be putting up there every day. And I usually give you a kind of like a morning photo as well, so you guys can have an amazing day and just enjoy the days, that you're having. Might not have a good one, but after looking at that photo or just checking out some good stuff on Alien Strand, might just change your mood a little bit. All right, but thank you guys for listening to the show, and thank you for being on Facebook. So if you have a chance, go to our YouTube channel. I have a video there that I made. It's called Skinny Bob Chronicles. Check that out. It's a small little documentary, about 10 minutes in length, not very long. and check it out, see what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be getting another doc up there pretty soon, so I really appreciate you guys for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Also, get us on Instagram too. Just subscribe to us there on Instagram, even on Twitter. I know very many people not up there or whatever on Twitter, but I still post a couple of things every once in a while. But thank you guys. And today, we're going to do episode number 50, right? And this one's about the World War II, the Foo Fighters, and the pilot stories, right? So, I wanted to get this story to you guys because I thought it was important, just like I do all the other podcasts as well, right? So, I want to dedicate this podcast today to my best friend, Renee Rodella, who I lost here a few weeks ago, and that's why I haven't had a podcast. He's like a brother to me, and we were around since teenagers, hanging around as kids, and he's just somebody that was very special to me. And he just recently passed away, and it wasn't from the COVID. It was just he was dealing with some issues, and for many years. But you know what? Rest in peace, Renee Rodella. I love you, brother, and we'll see you on the other side. But this one's for you today, and because he loved the movie The Flying Seabees, right? And it was about pilots, right, in World War II. So I thought of bringing out this story today on the Foo Fighters, right? Because, these World War II pilots were out there, flying out there all day and all night, and they would see these anomalies just flying by, didn't know what it was. They didn't have this fancy technology that we have now, or the things that we've seen so far within our timeline that they just didn't understand, right? Never seen anything flying in the air that fast, things with different colors, and they would spot these as they were flying, in their squadrons, right? So these few stories, take place at the end of the World War II, about late November of 1944. So this one we have airmen. They were from the 415th, and they're called the Night Fighter Squadron, right? So they would do exercises at night just to make sure that no enemy aircraft or stuff was in the air at the time. Just kind of protecting the area around their bases they had there in Germany. So they had they were called a Bristol Bullfighter crew, right? And that was the name of their little squadron there. And they had a pilot. His name was Edward Schlaughter. And there was a radar observer. His name was Donald J. Myers, right? And they also had an intelligence officer. His name was Fred Ringwald, right? So these major key players were in this squadron at the time of this flight that evening, right? And it was at night when these guys were flying. It was just something that they did on a normal basis. So they were flying along the Rhine north of Strasbourg. It's about 30 miles or kilometers east of Berlin, Germany. And they all described, I've seen this 8 to 10 orange lights off the left wing when they're flying. Remember, they're in formation. These UFOs were flying through the air at high speeds, they claim. And the airborne radar nor the ground radar picked up any signatures that was nothing near or close to them, right? So at that point, the pilot turned the plane towards these lights. But he says that they disappeared quickly when he did that maneuver. Then the report continues. He says, later they appeared again, but this time they were further away. And they continued on and off for several miles until they disappeared. So at that point, Myers gave the name from a cartoon called Smokey Stover, firefighter. He was a character, right? It was a cartoon. And he called it these objects Foo Fighters, which we still use that term today. I know there's a band like that, but this is where that term came from as far as these UFOs and these objects. So a historian, his name was Richard Zebart, for the 417th Night Fighter Squadron said, he said these pilots were very professional. They gave reports about lights, and all the pilots still found these sightings unnerving. And one of the pilots said, literally, we were scared shitless. The next day, the story of the Foo Fighters was featured on the front page of the newspapers across the country. And the only reason they were investigated is because other squadrons had seen them as well. They had seen these objects, but at different times. So, on December 17th, 1944, near Germany, pilots flying about 800 feet saw about 5 to 6 red and green lights in a T shape. He said these lights seemed to follow him closely, and they were fast and disappearing. Here's another one. On December 22nd, 1944, 2 more flight crews sighted these lights as well. One near Hagu saw 2 lights, large, orange, and they glowed on and off. He said they were rising from the air and it almost seemed like they were on the ground. And he says then they shot up about 10,000 feet into the sky. Then they started tailing the fighter for about 2 minutes. They said that these objects looked like they were under perfect control all the time. In other words, something intelligent was controlling these crafts or UFOs at the time by the maneuvers that they were doing. And this story, it's by Lieutenant Samuel A. Krasny, as he experienced a wingless cigar-shaped object, right? He said this one was glowing red, a few yards off the plane's wingtip. He says, I was spooked. Never seen anything like that. He instructed the pilot to attempt evasive maneuvers. But the object stayed next to the plane. For about a few minutes, then it flew off in high speed. So around this time, all the news was getting all this information on these anomalies or objects that were flying around these aircraft, these pilots, these fighter pilots. You're talking these propellered aircraft, right? This is 1944. So the Associated Press at the time said the theories of the Foo Fighters, the sightings, were possibly flares, weather balloons, or St. Elmo's fire. So St. Elmo's fire, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a phenomenon where the light appears on the tips of objects in stormy weather. In other words, it kind of gives that little glowing effect or whatever in the sky or while these guys are flying these planes. But in that story of the lieutenant, right? Lieutenant Casney's son, Keith Crasney, said, "My late father does not fit the stereotypical profile of a UFO theorist," right? He said he was very level-headed and very analytical. And he kept a notebook and drawings of these Foo Fighter sightings, right? But his father was open to one idea. He says they could have been late-breaking German technology. Because there was a lot of things that they kept quiet during the war. But that's another story, right? How many stories have we heard of the Die Glock? This is that German bell, right? At the time, they went and got all those German scientists because they created the V2 rocket. This was all in the same timeline, right? Because at the time, the German scientists were a little bit more advanced than the scientists in the United States at the time. They went and got them, gave them anonymity, gave them new names, new identities. And lo and behold, they used them to make the atomic bomb. Did they have something more advanced than we did? I'm not saying that they were the cause of these UFO around these crafts. There's plenty of evidence that these things did happen. There's plenty of photos out there. Search the web, you'll see it. Plenty of photos of these Foo Fighters around these old World War II pilot planes. They were everywhere at the time. Were they there just to see what was going on during the war? Because there was a lot of planes. There was a lot of explosions at the time. Gotta remember. A lot of firefighting in the sky. Were these UFOs there to watch and monitor what was going on? Or were they just curious of what was going on? You know, there's so many stories out there of these Foo Fighters, and even today, you'll see, you know, plenty of photos out there. People on airplanes, on these airliners, going across the Pacific, the Atlantic, seeing these large UFOs or crafts in the sky, and making videos of them from their seat in the window. And there is some CGI as well. It's almost kind of hard to tell. But with the right people, you'll be able to, or the right filters, you'll be able to analyze these videos and photos for yourself. You'll always see that EMF around these crafts. Electronic magnetic field. I just posted a photo from NASA's Gemini that when they were up there, they caught a photo of a UFO over the Earth. Great photo, but you can see the electronic magnetic field around this craft. And it looks blurry. Yes, it does. People are always saying, why are we always getting these blurry images of these UFOs in the sky? It's because of that electronic magnetic field around them. That's why. You know, there's just so many of these objects up there. And these guys from World War II, you know, on either side, it doesn't matter. They all witnessed these objects. They all have different names for these objects. And they were just freaked out about them. Never seen anything travel at those high speeds. I mean, come on, all the aircraft was propelled. Until the Germans came out with the V2 rocket. Once that was done, then they came out with the jet plane right after that.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
So it kind of gets you wondering on technology and how we got so advanced on everything that we have today. But, you know, I wanted to get this story out to you guys. And there's plenty of books on these events that happened during World War II. I'll post links to these books on this podcast. You know, it's something that we all need to know about. And, you know, just dig in a little further. Because remember, the more we dig, the more we're going to get out of finding out what these things are and what they really want. And if you have any information on any of these, share with everybody if you can. You saw it in a group, share it. Share it on Alien Strand. Everything there on Alien Strand is for you guys to discuss and to figure out if it's real or it's not. And once we find out that it's not, I update it and we go to the next one. It's a big learning experience for us all in ufology. And there's always sightings every day. Every day. And I'm going to read one to you before we close this out. One person says here, maybe 8 to 10 years ago, I was with my dad and younger brother, returning home to my mom's house. When we were driving along this road with the forest on either side, my dad noticed it first and said, "Look at that," pointing up through the sunroof. And maybe about 21 yards above us or less was this big, dark, gray circle, and it had bright white circular lights all at the same time, size and all equally spaced apart. It wasn't moving, or it wasn't moving fast. It wasn't making any noise as far as I could tell. Although we were in Landover, I could see all along the bottom and the sides. It was like square pipes running along it. And although I'm not certain, I seem to think to recall there being symbols and hieroglyphs as well. As we passed it, the top of it looked like a bowl. And it was like a lighter gray. And it remained there fixed in place for a good 8 to 10 minutes until we drove out of sight. So this object remained floating there this whole time, and they all saw it and witnessed it. But they decided to drive past it. Me personally, I would have probably stopped just to look at it or get a nice video or photo. But I'm glad I brought these stories out to you guys. And these incidents that happened in World War II. And things that are happening today. A lot of times it's seeing is believing, then hearing is believing, right? But a lot of these witnesses are documented. A lot of these World War II events are documented. And these are things that we still don't understand today. But as we all listen to Alien Strand here and try to get all this information out to you guys, we can all learn together, right? And I'm glad I got this information out to you today. If you have a chance, catch us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and alienstrand.com. Check us out there. You want to be a guest on the show? Just call 361-245-8000. Again, that's 361-245-8000. Or if you just go to the Facebook page, click on the Call Now button, and that'll call me directly to my phone. We'll set up an interview for you and a good time, and we'll get you on the show. You got some good information. I'm glad you guys stuck around for this next podcast and waited. I really appreciate you guys. I love all you guys. Thank you for that. And thank you for all the nice comments. after I posted about what happened. I really do appreciate that. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
Catch us on YouTube and hit like and subscribe. We'll see you there.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.